come a long way from the Averex. From the days when we had to make the waist stretch. Now it's Vacherons and all the Marpicay sets. You wanna get money with me? Say less. Say less. Say less. You wanna get money with me? Say less.
What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Say Less. It's your boy Kaz here once again. Been a busy few weeks, busy few days. But we back here live, not live, but soon to be live. I think that was a Freudian slip. I'm going to lean into what we're going to talk about later. But welcome back, man. Appreciate y'all. I was in Paris for the past week for Fashion Week doing commentary for the one and only Fourth Rope. Shout out Westside Gun. Shout out Smoke Dizzle. Shout out everybody over at Anthem putting that whole thing together. Lots of stuff has went down in the world of sports, pop culture, entertainment, whatever. It's been a ton of things, man. And I'd love to start off with the NBA. You know, obviously craziness happened the last time I sat here with you guys. I was just off of Fanatics Fest, I want to say. And Fanatics Fest was an incredible weekend. I've spoken a lot about my experiences. You could see a lot of my clips of my adventures at Fanatics Fest with guys like Michael Strahan, Allen Houston, Dwyane Wade, CeCe Sabathia, Dwight Howard, Ray Lewis, all the incredible legends I got to kick it with over there. Make sure you follow on my TikTok and my Instagram to check that out. But one of the big things that came out of Fanatics Fest a few weeks back was during Taylor Rooks and Kevin Durant sit down live on stage. It was announced that Kevin Durant would be traded to the Houston Rockets. The big first domino to fall in the NBA circle. And since then, there's been many moves that highlighted the free agency season. Obviously, first off, hats off and congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Not just winning the NBA championship, not just being named Finals MVP, but getting that bag. $71 million a year. If you're doing the math, that is close to $285 million for the next 4 years of basketball playing, making that the most lucrative contract in NBA history. Of course, you can't sneeze at that. You win the MVP, you win the conference finals MVP, you win the regular season MVP, and you win the championship. There's no check that you can't sign that is bigger than that. But obviously, there's been so much movement around the league, and thank God I got a place to talk about all of it. But let's start right here with our New York Knicks and our new coach. What up? Coach Mike Brown. Welcome to New York City. I like the pick. I like the hire. Now, obviously, like when it comes to all things Knicks, all things New York, it's going to be scrutinized in the way that nothing else is ever truly scrutinized. And when the Knicks cast out that big net to see who was going to be the person to not just take over this job, not just be the face of the franchise when it comes to addressing you, the fans, but with expectations as high as they have ever been for this New York Knicks franchise, after scouring the entire league, looking for coaches who had jobs, looking for coaches who didn't have jobs, looking for coaches who didn't even coach men, which I would have been super hyped for. Shout out Dawn Staley, and I think it's dope that now she's going to be getting talked about as a potential head coach in the NBA or a head coach for another program outside of the Gamecocks. So what she's done has been incredible. I loved that they went after Jason Kidd and forced people to get paid like Ime Udoka, but when it all came down to it, Mike Brown, two-time Coach of the Year, person who is absolutely understands what it's like to coach under pressure, coaching guys like Kobe Bryant, coaching guys like LeBron James, going to the finals, taking a Sacramento Kings team that did not see the playoffs for 16 years and bringing them to the playoffs back-to-back 61 seasons with LeBron James. Mike Brown, an absolutely incredible coach, one of the highest rated winning percentages in NBA history. Coached alongside Greg Popovich, was an assistant coach with Steve Kerr. And when Steve Kerr was out for that big Kevin Durant run with the Warriors, it was Mike Brown who coached that Warriors team to go 12-0 in the playoffs. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're be like, sir, I could have coached that Warriors team with Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green without Steve Kerr in the playoffs. But you didn't. He did. So shout out to him. I think he's a great fit for this Knicks team. And I love that he comes in knowing that it is finals or bust. Now, obviously, when it comes to this New York Knicks team, you go to the Eastern Conference Finals, you see the progression that this team has taken every year in the 2020s. The NBA Finals are the only goal when it comes to this New York Knicks squad, right? Now, and I love that he's taken on the pressure of saying, yeah, I want that job. This is not an easy job to have, folks. It's a sexy job. It's a sparkly job. It's a job that you're going to get a lot of attention for. But I don't envy anybody who has to live through that level of scrutiny. But God bless all the people who can do it. And Mike Brown, I've seen clips of him online going crazy in practices and screaming at people and being a meticulous attention to detail. I think the folks that were upset about not having Tibbs sort of finish the story and get this over the finish line for the New York Knicks team could rest well knowing that Mike Brown is the same level of tactician, when it comes to NBA basketball. You don't want a guy who is doing all these other things, and what Tibbs was known for and famous for was never leaving the facility, always being somebody who is always in the midst of planning for the next game, for the next practice, for the next challenge for the next team. I think Mike Brown answers that. But the thing that I think sticks out over Mike Brown and Tom Thibodeau, and I think it's razor thin, is if I'm reading the tea leaves from everybody in New York and the things that were said, not just during the season, but towards the end of the season and then social media, you can never discount the personality portion of being a head coach of a team that has championship aspirations. Now, that's not to say Tom Thibodeau didn't have a great relationship with his players. I can personally attest, especially when it comes to Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and some of the more consequential players on the New York Knicks squad, that they had a great relationship. But you got to admit, there were some things that were said, whether it was, the end of the DiVincenzo stint, the end of the Obi Toppin stint, that Tibbs probably rubbed a couple of people the wrong way. If he wasn't one of your guys, then you weren't really playing much, especially when you deserve to play much, deserve to have a defined role. I could understand if Tom Thibodeau was not your guy. Something tells me that Mike Brown, given the way he played the Sacramento Kings squad, going very deep, finding some diamonds in the rough, developing a lot of very young players that have been, excellent in the NBA, and not just in the Cavs, not just in the Kings, but the Cavs, the Lakers, the Warriors. The Lakers run was a little rough. I ain't gonna hold you. That was probably the only time where I'm just like, oh, that's tough. But coaching Kobe ain't for no hoes, man. Like, I get it. He's only won championships with one specific coach, and that's I guess for a reason. That's why Kobe is Kobe. God rest his soul. But you can't look at Mike Brown's track record and not see that he's been very successful in almost all of his stops. He's won championships as an assistant. Now, as a head coach, that is where is going to be the challenge. And the fact that he knows that this is what the entire goal is. Not just the fact that the Knicks are, I think, as good as any team in the NBA, but you're looking at where the Eastern Conference is right now. The Boston Celtics, fire sale, man. Got rid of Porzingis, sent him to Atlanta. Got rid of Drew Holiday. Got rid of, Sam Hauser, the tall guy. What's his name? He was 7'2", kind of gangly looking, and played for the Knicks. I forgot his name, but you're going to see his picture and put it down here and be like, hey, that's his name. The Celtics had a fire sale, people. The Jason Tatum injury completely changed the entire trajectory of that squad. And now you look at a team that has Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and I guess Al Horford as your starters. But the Celtics don't look like anything close to the dominance of the Eastern Conference that they look to be. The Indiana Pacers, who won the Eastern Conference this year and looked to be a team in prime position to be just as good next year, all that changed the moment Tyrese Halliburton went down with a torn Achilles. Later in the month, we find out Miles Turner gets traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Not traded, signed with the Milwaukee Bucks, but only after the Bucks waive and stretch the contract of Damian Lillard, who also tore his Achilles in the playoffs this year. So it's been the offseason of the Achilles this year, especially in Eastern Conference. And all of those broken Achilles have paved a road for the New York Knicks, who have only championship aspirations. Now, on the other side of that, you still got to deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who look like they are going absolutely nowhere. The Houston Rockets have retooled up and gotten a ton of new talent in addition to Kevin Durant. Obviously, the Denver Nuggets tooled up with some new players, traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson and getting a couple of other players to help out Nikola Jokic. But as long as you got the big joker, I don't think you're going too far. I say all that to say the West is going to be an absolute dogfight next year. And a team who has made little to not really seismic moves has been the Los Angeles Lakers. Now let's talk about the Lakers for a hot second. Right after Fanatics Fest and right before free agency hit, Rich Paul, LeBron James' agent, CEO of Clutch Sports, put out a statement saying after he picked up the option for his $52+ million 1 year left as a Los Angeles Laker, put out an option saying, I understand the Los Angeles Lakers franchise has to build for the future and LeBron wants to win now. We understand the difficulty in trying to do both. So all that being said, we got to do what's best for LeBron at the end of the day. What that meant to me was that the end of the LeBron-Lakers marriage, it may not be dead over, but we definitely in the final days of it. And last time I checked, LeBron James was all NBA second team this year. At 41 years old, still putting up close to 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, played 70 games, still counted on at his advanced age to lead a franchise to a championship, despite the fact that they traded for Luka Doncic, who is not just a great player right now, but the clear future face of the franchise in the post-LeBron years. Makes me wonder what the Lakers really want to do and what LeBron wants to do. The Lakers could have very easily said, LeBron, we want to finish your career as a Laker. How do we do that? Let's add some years to this option. Nope, they just took the 1 year option. Is this LeBron's last year? Do the Lakers know that? Does LeBron know that? Who knows? But the way that dude is playing, I am not completely sure that this might be the last year. Now, there's one thing that I want to put out there in the ether. The last time the Lakers were in this position was towards the end of the Kobe Bryant years. God rest Kobe's soul. He was still playing at an extremely high level up until that Achilles injury, but even after his returns, he was still pretty good, but clearly it was time to hang him up. And even though he didn't go out like, a shell of his former self, but having one of the greatest, most entertaining final games in NBA history, the Lakers as a franchise definitely went through some lean years afterwards, all right? You remember Lonzo Ball? Remember when he was supposed to be the savior? Remember drafting Josh Hart and Kyle Kuzma and that fun summer league team that was supposed to be the future of the Lakers? Not to say Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, and Lonzo Ball aren't very good players. But the one person who helped make sure that those lean Lakers years didn't become anorexic was LeBron James. And the things I'm hearing from Laker fans about LeBron James on the way out, ooh, y'all sports fans are something else. Especially the sports fans that tend to come from winning teams. It's the audacity and the spoiledness that they have when it comes to the greatness of one of the greatest athletes the sports world has ever seen. The wild thing is, the only thing I've found fault in LeBron James when it comes to criticizing him at 41 years old, still playing at this level, to anybody who is worth talking to, is that he's not Michael Jordan. Well, damn. What a tough hill to climb there. On top of that, Laker fans, you're in a very different position than you were in the post-Kobe years. You got your next superstar. You got your next marquee player. Luka Doncic is that guy. And judging from the way I've seen from the offseason, the workouts, and how he's been working, to get into a position to lead this franchise, you heard them little fat jokes y'all was talking about. You heard all them things he was saying, talking crazy about how he's, got to lose weight. Magic Johnson, who never does press anymore. This is a guy who used to be on ESPN every week. He made sure to sit across from Stephen A. Smith on First Take and say, and I'm paraphrasing here, your ass better get into shape if you want to lead this Laker franchise. That's exactly what he did. And knowing that, and knowing how the Lakers move, knowing that they did not add any extra years to LeBron's contract, if he wanted those or not, let me know exactly where the Lakers were thinking and exactly what LeBron is thinking. LeBron still wants a championship. The Lakers would love to add a championship. How they get better is through LeBron both ways. One, you're still the all-NBA level, GOAT level player alongside Luka Doncic, but you're now taking a step back, and you're still expected to have the type of output that not just keeps you relevant, but puts you over the top of teams like Denver, like Oklahoma, like the Rockets, like the Spurs, like the Mavericks, who all of a sudden do not look like they lost the Luka deal anymore. The West is treacherous. If you're LeBron and he got a year or two left in your deal, in your career possibly, do you want to spend your twilight years going through that murderer's row of West Coast teams who are already better than you and got better this offseason? Or do you, as LeBron, who, now let me make this clear, could have made this a very easy choice if he didn't pick up his $52 million option, make it a way that you leave the Lakers and you give the Lakers the pieces that they need to live in the post-LeBron era, in the Luka Laker era. That is your best asset, a $52 million worthy contract of LeBron James, who is, for the first time in his career, being treated like an expiring contract, a valuable asset for any team who looks to get better. Look at all of the teams who we are looking at as far as squads who have depth and stars and build through the draft and look like they're going to be good for a very long time. Tatum injury aside, the Celtics got great when they cashed in on the corpses of Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Brooklyn Nets and taking those picks and drafting those players and making them relevant for years to come. The Oklahoma City Thunder traded away Paul George and got probably the most lopsided trade in NBA history. Not just you trade them the future MVP and Finals MVP and face of your franchise, but you give them picks upon picks upon picks to not just be good, but to be good for a long time. Now, if you're the Lakers, you're looking at both of those franchises and you're saying, this is the way. We need to get as much as we can for our most valuable asset in LeBron James if we want to move in the post-LeBron era. If we can do what Oklahoma and Boston did with Paul George and KG and Paul Pierce respectively, the Lakers will put themselves in a better position. And an even more messed up way of thinking about it, the team who has looked like to have done that is the team that traded Luka Doncic last year. Trading Luka for Anthony Davis, I mean, from some level of black magic, also getting the number one pick. And now you are not just primed for your post-Luka years. You have primed yourself for a team that has depth, that has youth, that has a future, that looks exciting. All things that the Los Angeles Lakers aren't outside of Luka and LeBron. Now, don't get me wrong. Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, that team is good enough to win you some games. That team is good enough to get you there. Luka and LeBron are great enough to overcome some great teams. But you are asking a whole lot out of these guys, especially if you're the Lakers and you're trying to figure out a way to not just be good this year, but to be good for years to come. So that begs the question. You're LeBron. What is a attractive destination for you? One side, a lot of folks talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I've heard a lot of people say, man, this would have been so much easier if LeBron declined his option, take whatever money he was going to get from Cleveland, and go play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me tell you something, folks. If LeBron did that, he would be not just the first player in NBA history. He would be the first human in the history of the world to say, I do not want $52 million and live in Los Angeles. I will take an 80% pay cut and go move to Cleveland just to win a championship. I'm sorry. You ask a lot from a 41-year-old. If I'm still playing at a level that is all NBA level, and you're telling me the only way I got to win a championship is to take a massive pay cut and move out of sunny California, I would tell you, thanks, no thanks. Here's my signature. I'm LeBron James. I will figure out a way to get out of here if I need to. Because franchises do it all the time. I had no idea you could Bobby Bonilla a contract in the NBA. And that's exactly what happened to Damian Lillard. When he tore his Achilles, I was upset for him, but I figured, all right, they're going to figure out a way to get him back, and hopefully he's still the same player. But at the end of the day, franchises do what's best for them, and the Lakers are going to do what's best for them. But the only thing is, LeBron is the one entity in the entire league that can change that. You need to know that LeBron, with his no trade clause and picking up his option, knows that the best negotiator in all of this is LeBron himself. The only way LeBron gets his money and gets to choose where he wants to go is if LeBron himself goes up to the brand new Lakers owners who, for the first time in history are owned by the Buss family, and says, for what I've brought to this franchise, I think it would be best if you figure out a way to move me. And something tells me the Buss family wasn't trying to do all that. Let's cash out on these cool couple billions, and let's, still have a controlling interest in the Lakers and still have some influence, but nah, we're going to pass the buck here. So you mean to tell me if LeBron really wants to head up out of LA, these brand new owners, and not to say that they're not, incredible owners. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they also own a piece of the Dodgers, also own a piece of LA Galaxy. Like, they are running it up. The Rams, I think, running it up with the LA sports franchises. As powerful as LeBron is, I do think he could be powerful enough to be like, I want to be traded to a team that's going to get me closer to an NBA championship. I believe those teams in the Eastern Conference, and I believe that team is the New York Knicks. That's the only way I see that happening. That's the only way I see that happening. Now, if you're the Knicks, who have already said, Kevin Durant, price is a little too steep. We got to get deep. We're not beating any of these top teams like Oklahoma City or the Rockets or the Timberwolves or any of these teams coming out the West or any of these teams that are going to try and come from them in Orlando, Detroit, and Atlanta. by gutting our depth. We're good on KD. But you look at the tea leaves when it comes to the New York Knicks, and you look at what people have said who would know how these things sort of work, that it's really, really odd that for the first time in a long time, Clutch and the New York Knicks are working together. The Knicks signed Jordan Clarkson on a minimum deal, which is significant, to join the team. The Knicks hired Mike Brown, LeBron's former head coach in Cleveland. Pretty sure that's significant. The Lakers, even though they signed DeAndre Ayton, and I think who will play well for this Lakers team, still don't think it gets you particularly closer over the edge in the Western Conference. And lastly, you got the story of it all. You got the story of it all. If you're the Knicks and you could figure out a way to turn Mikal Bridges' extension-eligible contract and probably a player you're going to have to miss, you got to give to get some here in the NBA, and turn that into LeBron James? LeBron James ending his career as a New York Knick and an NBA champion is too good of a story to pass up. Even better than him going to Cleveland. I mean, hey, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a very good squad. A third stint in Cleveland could be storybook. But I don't think the Cavaliers are trying to do all that, if I'm being honest. I don't think they're trying to do all that. And the way tea leaves are set up, Leon Rose, who used to be LeBron's agent, the New York Knicks and Clutch and CAA, whose icy relationship over the years have finally melted, as evidenced by the Jordan Clarkson signing. All of these things let me know that while the betting money is that LeBron's going to start the season as a Laker, don't be surprised. Don't be totally shocked if the Knicks don't at least kick the tires on this thing. And LeBron and Broadway, Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and the rest of those Knicks, hell of a way to kick off a new season with some new TV deals. We're going to need a whole lot of eyeballs. And if you ever need any idea of how things are always going to move, follow that money. That NBA and NBC contract, that Amazon deal, the TV ratings being the story that it is. Can't tell me the ratings juggernauts of the New York Knicks and LeBron James coming together wouldn't be music to the ears of those television executives. I'm going to put a pin on that. I'm sure we will revisit that before the end of the off season. Life doesn't slow down. New cities, new fam, new challenges. That's why I rock with the Toyota Grand Highlander. Real space, 8 seats, adult-sized third row, and it still looks sharp with that nightshade edition. Gas hybrid or that hybrid max, power's there. All-wheel drive, you're good to go no matter what the road throws at you. The Grand Highlander moves with you. Hit up toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places. Look, dads don't always talk about what they're carrying. The pressure, the purpose, the how am I going to provide and still be present kind of weight. But real ones, they carry it all and still make time to show love, crack jokes, and drop those back in my day stories that somehow always hit. Walmart sees that. This Father's Day, they're not just giving dads their flowers, they're shining a light on the growth, the grind, and the glory of fatherhood. Say less. Dad did that. This Father's Day, visit walmart.com/Black and Unlimited and show up for the legends in your life. All right, so there's only like one thing that I'm really kind of wishing I could do in life right now. Trying to be the best dad I could be. Trying to be the best commentator, podcaster, analyst, event producer. partner, husband, boyfriend. No, take that part out. Partner, husband, father, all that stuff. Son, you know. But the one thing I really wish I was better at is watching Love Island. Love Island has come into my life similar to COVID and Pokemon Go and kava bowls, were just things that were just nowhere in my line of sight at one point. And now all of a sudden, absolutely unavoidable. And I have tried my best to be a part of the Love Island cult and tried my best to follow along on Twitter about the Hudas and the Wadas and what the O'Melleys, Canellis, what's her names? You know, Bombshells. Do you know any of these names, Marvin? Do you watch Love Island? I don't know. It's hard to keep up. And I know I speak for so many people out there who have tried their best to be good at life right now and figuring out what's going on with these tariffs and bills and living everything possible while keeping it all together as a person who has a family and home and all that stuff. How the hell am I supposed to keep up with Love Island? Like, so the point of the show, they just boink? It's just competitive boinking? Like, is that what it is? Like, who can do the quickest, the most successful boink? And like competitively though, like I don't. How do you get into it? I can't. I tried starting. I went to the Peacock app and I'm like, all right, boom, season 7. I'll just start from season 7. This seems like the season everybody's talking about. I'm like 39 episodes. 39 episodes. How many episodes? And there's a new episode every day.
How, Sway?
Can I just jump? I tried jumping in and just being like, all right, if I just watch the latest episode and just follow along on Twitter, like by osmosis, I could just figure out all the other backstories and just see why this is important and that's not important. And it's too much happening. It's like reality show ADHD is what Love Island is to me. Like, my reality show intake used to be very simple, right? 7 strangers picked to live in a house. Will they get along? Will the black lady get into a fight with this white man? Will this gay person deal with a bigot in the house? And we're going to record it all, and we're going to give them jobs. And maybe they'll compete in some Survivor-type challenge show later on in life. Reality shows used to be very, 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 very simple. And now it's like there's so much going on. It's like The Bachelor, but like Survivor, but it's like The Circle, but it's also like The Challenge, but like they're really just all there to have sex with each other. And like they just met, but there's cheating happening and there's a prize at the like, and you got prize money for this? I don't know, bro. It's been weird. I'm not going to say it's weird. I watch wrestling. I don't judge anybody who watches and what they enjoy, what they watch. My rule of thumb has always been let people enjoy things. Matter of fact, my bigger rule of thumb is if you enjoy things, I want to figure out why you enjoy things. And Love Island has become that thing that has just taken over. And I've tried my best. I've tried everything. I don't got the time. I don't know how y'all do it. This is what Love Island does to me, man. Like, I'm just sitting here, and I don't know if it's the what's the term when you don't want to be left out of shit, right? FOMO? Yes. Like, I don't know if it's the FOMO in me that's kicking in, But like, I want to do the Love Island stuff. I want to figure out what's happening. It seems entertaining. Seems like there's treachery and sex and hilarity and social commentary happening between people. I feels like this is all this big gumbo of reality shows that I've enjoyed in the past, but with competitive boinking. And if there's somebody out there who sees this video or listens to this show and could give me the crash course I would give you if I needed to put you on to what was happening on the road to SummerSlam, I would appreciate you so much. Like, if it's that easy to follow along, like, I want to jump in. I want to get a part of this show because the hold it has on my fellow man while the world falls apart, while prices are up and down, we're on the brink of World War III, LeBron's going to retire one of these days. Everything's up and down, left and right. But nothing has captivated the attention of this show. And I just want to be down. So if there's somebody out there who could please put me on and give me the Cliff Notes, give me the Mad Libs, give me something very digestible so I can hop in and enjoy the ride like the rest of the world, I would be so indebted to you. Please, for the folks who have Love Island FOMO, help a brother out. That's all I'm asking for. So on Rap Roundtable, there was discussion saying if the Clips, they said, I'm sorry, I'll make it clear. They said after the Clips drops, Let God Sort Them Out, they'll be known as the greatest hip-hop duo of all time. I posed the question, if Let God Sort Them Out was undeniable, could they be the greatest hip-hop duo of all time? Now, me personally, I don't think anybody's beating Outkast. I think Outkast is the greatest hip-hop duo of all time. But I never get mad at the question. I always like observing the response. And the visceral response that I got from so many people when I asked if, not when, like this person asked on Rap Roundtable, I said if. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, what if this album is so undeniable, you have to have that conversation? Is the body of work of Lord Willin', Hell Hath No Fury, Till the Casket Drops, and this album enough to put you in a GOAT duo category? Now, when it comes to Outkast, they're here to me. They are one of the greatest, most influential, impactful musical acts of my lifetime. Even as solo acts, Andre and Big Boy have been just incredible to witness evolve. But I thought the term was greatest of all time. All time. You mean to tell me a duo who is as accomplished as the Clips can't put out another project and maybe another project after that makes you change what your top 5 is, what your top 3 is, who your GOAT is? This time, a couple years ago, I don't think a lot of people was calling Kendrick the GOAT. Kendrick Lamar the GOAT of all time, the greatest of all time. Still a lot of people don't call Kendrick Lamar the greatest of all time. But what has happened since then is certain things, certain events have taken place that have made you reevaluate people's place in all-time history. It has nothing to do with the fact that you like somebody's music better than the other, but eventually you have to take into account that new blood is always going to come in and push that conversation and force the conversation into that. Now, whether you are Run DMC, UGK, Mobb Deep, Outkast, Run the Jewels, There's always Rich Gang, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be conversations for the greatest hip hop duos of all time, and I don't think any of those things are set in stone. You know, I mean, to a lot of people, I never thought I'd live to see the day where Jay-Z's place as the greatest of all time is not set in stone. To many people I talk to, it's for sure still set in stone. But there's lots of artists that have come since. There are lots of rappers, not lots of rappers, just maybe 2 rappers that try and make that claim, that can argue to make the claim of being one of the greatest, of being the greatest. I don't need to agree with it, but my whole thing is rap is the one genre of music that's supposed to stay competitive, supposed to continue to push the envelope and evolve and act like, well, it's the crown is always up for grabs. There could always be somebody who could come on and make the case for being the best ever, right? At some point, we all thought Lil Wayne could be the best ever. Hell, Jay-Z himself said, hey, this guy has the ability and possibly one day maybe can be looked at as one of the greatest ever. But actually, that in 2025, a lot of people act like that conversation never happened. Who knows where Kendrick's career could go post GNX, not like a Super Bowl, Grammy, all that type of stuff. But his current run is something to be considered when it comes to greatness. Say what you want about Drake. His run is as long and as lucrative and as successful as any rappers in history. And before, say, 2013, 2014, I never thought anybody would even get into the same breathing space as Jay-Z as far as solo greatness, whether it's commercially, critically, or, commercially or critically. But these things happen. It's not set in stone. So all the people who got up in arms saying, oh my God, this is the New York bias. Like, oh God, here we go. We're going to get forced. The Clips are going to being forced down people's throats because New Yorkers and the New York media, like that means anything anymore. Like streamers don't come from all over the effing planet is going to force the Clips down people's throats. Like, nah, man, we just recognize that these guys have been rapping really goddamn good for the past 20 years. And to put out something that's still culturally relevant in the big 2025, that has to go into your resume. Because all the other great duos, what are they doing in 2025? Not disrespecting them. It's an honest question. What are they doing in 2025 right now? What they did 20 years ago? The guys that made Grinding and When's the Last Time and We Got It for Cheap mixtapes and all that type of stuff still being as relevant right now in 2025, it's a healthy convo to have. No need to clutch your pearls, Southerners. I love Outkast too. No need to clutch your pearls, boom bappers and backpackers. I love Run DMC and Mobb Deep also. I love them. But to say that it's set in stone and it can never be changed and it's impossible, anything's possible. And if this album is as great as people are telling me it's going to be, don't let your bias get in the way of putting the Clips in their proper place in history. I don't think they can get number one off of one album, but I've seen crazy things happen. Seen a guy get dissed at the Super Bowl and the Grammys. And that record be played on Z100 at the same time. Things have happened. But I'm just glad this conversation is about rap, man. Like that's the stuff I like talking about. All the other shit, you can miss me with that. Rap combos, we could always be here with that. It's always healthy. It's always a good thing to have. I think I'm going to wrap it up today, man. As always, I appreciate y'all checking us out right here on my YouTube page, Say Less with Kaz. Before we get out of here, I got a few things. We got a big episode 7 p.m. in Brooklyn dropping next week. I can't wait for y'all to see that one. I have a lot to talk about that after that one is released. July 31st, Brooklyn Paramount. We're going to officially announce this week coming up, but since I'm taping before that, by the time this comes out, this might be out, but big event, SummerSlam weekend, New York City, Brooklyn Paramount, Thursday night, July 31st, big wrestlers, big artists, big athletes, all touching down in New York City. We did it for Vegas for Wale Mania. We've done it all over the country during WrestleMania weekend. First time ever we're doing something during SummerSlam weekend. First time it's a 2-night SummerSlam. Wrestling, hip-hop, culture, music, art, fashion, all coming together in the only way I know how. Stay tuned. When tickets go on sale, go ahead and get them. And last but certainly not least, been talking to my guy Marvin here at the studio. I think we're about to go live soon. Yep. That's the plan. Say Less Live is coming. Subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe to my Instagram. Subscribe to my TikTok. All live, all the time. We're going to go 2 times a week. And instead of having these takes and letting y'all simmer on it, I need to feel y'all. I need to talk to y'all. I need to jump back and forth for you guys because I feel like doing all this talking by myself is fun for a while. But man, I gotta figure out a way to touch the rest of y'all and touch the rest of these people. So Say Less Live coming. You're gonna see some of the gang coming in here. We're gonna be right here in our studio right here in New Jersey. It's gonna be so much fun. Coming very, very soon, sooner than you know. But make sure you subscribe to this YouTube page, to the Patreon, to my Instagram, to my TikTok. We're going live. Say Less Live coming very soon. That's it for today's episode. Like we always do at this time. Stay free. Stay safe, and always say less. Catch y'all next time, people. I'm out.
Come a long way from the Averex, from the days when we had to make the waist stretch. Now it's Vacherons and all the Marpé sets. You want to get money with me? Say less. Say less. You want to get money with me? Say less.
The Toyota Grand Highlander's got that grown-up energy. Room for the crew, premium interior, and that sleek nightshade edition, clean. Fold down the back and boom, 97 cubic feet of space, plus up to 5,000 pounds of towing and available all-wheel drive. You're ready for whatever. It's the SUV that shows up when life gets real. Check it at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places. You know that dad who dances off beat at cookouts but still pulls it off somehow? Or the one who gives life advice at red lights with a burger in one hand and your report card in the other? Yeah, he's a legend. This Father's Day, Walmart is giving that kind of dad his due. The wisdom, the warmth, the weird dad jokes, we're here for all of it. Because dad energy, it's undefeated. Certified legendary. Celebrate your legend this Father's Day at walmart.com/Black and Unlimited.